Hello, welcome to my ADI Part 3 series where I get all the answers about the tests from an ex-ADI enforcement officer, the people who will conduct your Part 2, Part 3 and standards check tests. I've put 16 of the most burning questions that both PDIs and ADIs ask about the test, and in this video I asked the question, when should I adjust the lesson plan? So it's very rare that during any lesson that you wouldn't need to adjust the lesson plan to adapt towards the learning needs of your pupil, because your pupil is constantly evolving and changing, and so you need to keep up with the plan. So this is quite a broad ranging subject, and Brad and I discussed it over many of the topics. It's sort of interlinked with so many other subjects, so I've put a little collage of clips together to help you better understand, like, when do you adjust and how do you do it. Often people say, oh, do I need to change the plan? So I don't know, we'll do it like, let's stick to the roundabouts. They got a habit of misjudging gaps on a roundabout, stopping suddenly, dangerous stuff happening. But then the instructor notices they've missed some mirror checks. The question I get is, well, do we now need to change the lesson to the mirrors, or should we just include it? Or
you need to find out why they're being missed, and are they being missed because of where we are geographically and they're getting, you know, overall engaged in what's going on, or is it genuine they've just forgotten to do them, or maybe you've never actually had that conversation of why are we checking the mirror. I've seen that happen quite often, where the instructor has taught the person a mirror, signal, or whatever it might be, but actually there's no point if they ever actually said to the learner, do you know why you're checking the mirrors? I believe I've seen that quite often. And then actually in the Part 3 you can see the learner's gone, oh, so that mirror, you're telling me that one's to see what's behind us. All this time I've been doing it in that one. And you think, my God. But it's learning's taken place. They've done the right thing. You know, I can't hold it against you. It's not what I would do, but it's...
So in that scenario, you could still stick with work on the roundabouts and incorporate the mirrors?
Yeah.
But you couldn't ignore the mirrors.
No. It's like sitting in the room with a bear. You know, you can't really ignore it. You need to kind of at some point acknowledge it at some point. But yeah.
Good. Yeah,
I think that cracks that. Yeah.
Okay, so another question I get asked quite a lot from PDIs is about when to adapt the lesson. So, for example, let's say that they've already had a chat with the pupil, they've agreed to look at roundabouts, their approach speed, or whatever it is that they're going to do on roundabouts, but it becomes evident early on that the pupil's struggling to move off, stalling, having problems with the clutch. What would be your thoughts?
See, the adaption's quite a tricky one to answer. So if someone had something like that and you're in an area you could deal with about it, I'd now think, well, the goal is still probably the same, but now the needs have overtaken that, and that's something people often misread. So if you look at the top box where it says, was the trainer aware of the goals and needs? Really, that's two questions. Was the person aware of the goals? Was the person aware of the needs? So by what you basically got to think about is that need going to be constant? Is it going to impact the driving that would have otherwise been okay? And I'd probably say yes in that case, so that needs to be adapted. And a lot of people, often the case when I have a failure to do with adaptation, it's always the case that people usually spot it. They usually say, yeah, let's look at that. The learner gets the buy-in and we go and start looking at it. However, the driver suddenly starts to get better. The instructor thinks, oh, yep, problem's gone away, let's go back to the original subject, and then the problem comes back. And I think, okay, we haven't really dealt with it then. And I think about, well, what's the difference between me and you? Or I would have probably asked this question or that question, and I reckon within reason that would have got an answer. And remember earlier we were talking about the why, or the reason behind. I don't want to hang my hat on the why so much. It's the reason behind something, the cause, or however you want to put it. So if I said to you, okay, so you've a couple of times now you've stalled the vehicle, what do you think's causing that? Oh, it's because I'm not really familiar with this car, we've been learning my other car. Okay, how can we do about that? Is something I can actually teach you, or is that just a familiarization thing? Oh, it's a familiarization thing. Okay, well let's maybe just stay quite safe and just get you familiar. I can sort of show you some techniques and stuff, and we can then go back. Now, if it persists, it doesn't matter so much, because I know that you've done everything as an instructor within reason that could actually help this person. So adaptation doesn't always mean actually fixing the thing you're adapting to. It's that you've spotted it, that you've found it the underlying problem, and you're on a path that means it will be dealt with either in the next 45 minutes or the next hour.
Yeah.
I'm only with you for a very small period of time, and again, like I said before, when I get out of the car, I don't expect, you know, the problem to always have been resolved. It does depend on what the problem was, or if there's more than one. But I sort of think, you know, would that have continued to have improved? And I think, yeah, I think they probably would have done in time. Therefore, there's a reasonable cause to say that's learning taking place.
And in that scenario where they're stalling for whatever reason, you're advised to go find a different practice areas, get them off the roundabouts, maybe, or could you incorporate that at?
Yeah, I think you probably
the
could.
roundabouts when they stop and help them a bit with
that's a good
their
question.
clutch control.
Yeah, I think it really depends on where you are and what the reason behind the thing is, because if often I've found over the years, I don't know if you've thought the same, but when I've been examining, usually people are all you know, nervous, high pressure environment. You know, the learner feels it, the instructor feels it, and that's where problems come up. And the minute we then just take a step back and we go to a quiet area, so miraculously the problem goes away. At that point I think, okay, well, it's definitely not a problem with anything to do with the car. It's just to do with the pressure they're feeling and the environment they're in. So how are we going to deal with that? And you'd be thinking, well, if it was me, I'd be talking, maybe I'd change the level, maybe I'd be starting my conversation a bit earlier. You try and do things like that to sort of deal with the problem, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
It is a tricky subject, adaptation. Yeah, it's very, very case dependent.
Because that is a.
It is a really. I've been asked
like,
that over the years.
I failed because I didn't adapt.
I think it's often the case.
Or they did adapt, and it wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Like they missed a mirror check. So, well, you could have just incorporated that. You didn't have to go off to a quiet area to do mirrors. You could have stayed with your roundabouts.
I think it's often the case. People, I've said at the end of the test, you know, you've missed. It's all. I think it's all about looking for clues. You know, this person has a problem with approach speed, and my evidence for that is they've approached not just roundabouts, but they've approached everything just way too quick, and they pull away really quickly, and it just all comes together to mean that that person's having that problem. And it's just like the evidence is over, it's like a tidal wave, it's overwhelming. So the fact you haven't adapted is just beyond me. I don't see how you've, within reason, had an argument for not adapting. That's usually how the conversation I've had. They usually go in debriefs.
Yeah.
I think I've had them when you've been present. I've sort of said, you know, just I don't quite follow your line of logic. It doesn't make sense, you know, the way you've just blatantly ignored all of the evidence that this person struggles with that problem, and you've persisted with the plan or whatever it is. About that kind of thing.
And sort of going back to the part 3, during a part 3 lesson test, if your people did come in and graze the curb, would you mention it, or should they be mentioning that? As
that
like,
would be.
if it was one of those like RASP where you think, oh my god.
Yeah. That would be something maybe you'd sort of say once the car had come to a stop. You probably would. I mean, I think if I was the instructor, I'd sort of say, okay, well that wasn't good. What do you think caused that? And they'd say, oh, I got the reference point wrong. Okay, well what were you using on that particular? Oh, I was using that bit of the windscreen wiper. Okay, well maybe you might want to reconsider that. What could be different? And that's often the case. It might be either a change in reference point, or the severity of the angle we were coming in meant the reference point wasn't in its usual place and therefore wasn't accurate on that occasion. So it would be a very minor conversation, and you don't need to say anything like, you know, shall we adapt, because if it's a part 3, and that, especially if that was sort of halfway through early on, it's likely you'll probably be able to stop again. So it could be one of those things, I think we said previously, where you could say, well, you know, at some point, if I see the opportunity, we'll try and pull over again, just to make sure. Yeah. So it's sort of like a need within a need, you know, a very small, quick.
So you'd want to mention it, but you don't have to change the whole plan. And
No. It's just a minor little thing.
And sort of related to curbs, let's say on a part 3 test lesson, the pupil does hit the curb quite hard, like a proper clunk. Should the PDI at that point, if you feel you've done damage to the wheel, the tyre wall, would that be like, let's pull up and have a look at that? Would that be advisable?
I think it probably would be, yeah, because again, you just got to think about what's common sense. You know, if I've been in the learner test before, we've gone into quite a deep pothole, and it's really, and I can almost hear what felt like the tyre hitting the top of the wheel arch, and I just said, just switch off for a second. I had a quick look at it, thought, oh, that's all right, and we carried on. It was only when we got back to the test centre, at that point gone to a point where it was flat. That's not my problem now. But that person, in my mind, I think it was a pass, that, because you know, he's a learner. To be fair to him, you couldn't really see that pothole. You couldn't have done anything about it. There was cars constantly coming towards, so it's really a lot of things to take into consideration. But yeah, if you just bump the curb or someone has a smack at either end, part 3 learner test, whatever it is, it's usually a very minor thing. But in a part 3 or stand stick, I would acknowledge it if it was me.
Yeah. I think people in a normal lesson would do that, but when they're in the test,
yeah, it's funny.
Like, oh, we haven't got time, and this wasn't in the plan.
Yeah.
Why did this happen? And want to brush it under the carpet and just wish it never happened.
And now I'm thinking, and now I'm sort of looking at the awareness of the instructor, because if you haven't mentioned it, I've got no evidence to say you're aware of it, and I've got no evidence to say that you weren't. So in light of nothing, I have to sort of put, well, I've seen it, so I know it happened, but you haven't mentioned it. That shows me your lack of awareness. Now I'm going to be assessing that, especially if it happens again. I'm thinking, yeah, that's quite a lack of, yeah, that's kind of how the assessment will work. It's, we give you the benefit of the doubt. You know, if it happened and you leave it, and maybe at the end of the lesson you say, oh, you know, really hours ago we hit a curb, how do you think about that? I think, okay, now there's evidence you are aware of it, you're just really slow to react. Now it's more in opportunities that would go to, because you had an opportunity to do something about it in the lesson. Now the lesson's over, you've got to wait until the kids drive them next time. So the box it goes into moves around.
Got it.